MVP of championship weekend back in 2022. But Morris, we did meet him last week after the game. I'm confident that he's going to give a reasonable performance.
Anthony Ghobriel, the Navy transfer, will take the opening face-off for Virginia. Luke Wierman, a second-team All-American, wins the opening draw for Maryland, accelerates downhill, fires on cage, and Morris makes the first save. That play eerily reminiscent of how the 2021 national championship game between these two ended. Wierman won the final face-off, accelerated toward the cage. Alex Rode made the big body save to preserve the Virginia win.
With that backhand shovel shot up goal line extended on the left side.
Of the left side, okay, talking to Lars yesterday, he said, we think the vulnerability is up the left side.
Wierman, such a weapon. Maryland going early. Good look there by Daniel Maltz, who had 4 goals in the quarterfinals. And now the Terps will go on offense. This is a top 6 where they've mixed and matched. The one loss to Virginia in the 2021 championship. Wierman has won every face-off. What a weapon he is. And they use him now on the offensive end at times in a similar way that Virginia used Petey LaSala. Maryland has won every face-off so far. This one turns into a muck. That looked like a push. No flag. Now we get a whistle.
Early timeout. John Tillman 10 yards onto the field. So that shows you what he's thinking about possession early in this game. To burn a timeout in the first quarter. So now Wierman has won every face-off in this game. He's 4-0. 2 out the front, 1 out the back. That was a 50-50, a scrap. Virginia's got to do a much better job off-ball defense. I think they're doing a decent job on the ball, winning some of those matchups, but their off-ball guys got to tighten it up.
Wierman wins another face-off, another clean exit. Wierman fires and scores. That juices the Maryland bench. 4-1 Terps.
It's a different kind of feeling when 52 brings it right down to the heart of the opposing team's defense. I mentioned earlier he did it twice against Duke. Broke their hearts in Hempstead a week ago. It's the evolution of the position. The rules changed a couple years ago. It forced more athletes, better lacrosse players, and goal scorers from that spot.
Virginia's wing players cannot even impact Wierman. It's a pinch and pop. He's done that 3 times in this game. He's off to the races. The wingman has got to take an angle where they can intersect him before he becomes an offensive threat at the top of the box. And Lars Tiffany talking to his wing guys about their angles.
And against Ghobriel, he's getting those clean exits, which are leading to opportunities. Virginia now counters with Colucci. And Colucci makes it more of a scrum. It's a hold against Maryland. Virginia gets the ball back. Terenzi fires on cage. Easy save.
Keep the change, Quint. Keep the change on your royalties. I just spoke to John Tillman as well. He thinks offensively, he's happy with the way they're shooting the ball, but he thinks from a spacing perspective, they need to be more spread out when they get in their 6-on-6 and they're dodging type opportunities. And keep in mind, you guys mentioned 6'7", 6'6", 6 defending Chase Yeager. Chase Yeager's a short stick teammate. You have to stay on that matchup rather than allow a 6-on-5.
Colucci lost his stick. Wierman wins another face-off. 7 out of 8 for the All-American. Maryland looking for early offense. Good recovery that time by 16 in white, George Fulton.
To beat you off the dodge and shoot if you're Virginia.
There comes Wierman again. Clean exit, wing, feed, Morris with a big stop. Erdman, punt return clear.
Tell you, that face-off disparity is just a ticking time bomb.
And it's not just Wierman winning face-offs. Wierman is creating offense and scoring chances off a majority of those face-off wins.
Defenders on ball, but Maryland surgically is making this an off-ball game inside.
And now the challenge for Virginia. Can they solve Wierman? Nope.
So it's invert city. That is, they're putting middies behind the net. They're attacking exclusively with the ball from behind the net, forcing these Virginia defensive players to play an east with their on the elbow, and he's changing his arm pads. Top recruit in the country.
And this is big for Virginia. Colucci wins the faceoff, only the second faceoff won by Virginia. Peyton Cormier, 24 and white, first round against St. Joe's, 8 goals on 15 shots. Only 1 for 11 in the quarterfinals. 223 career. Pretty much every aspect of this game. You start on the defensive end, in goal with Zappitello, at the faceoff X with Wierman.
Luke Wierman from Westchester, Pennsylvania, has put on an absolute clinic, whether it's the pinch and pop maneuver out the front, countering with a clamp and rake backside, his handle, and his ability to put the ball on the 6x6. This is a guy who's won more faceoffs than any player in Maryland history. He's as clutch as it gets.
He's been sensational in this NCAA tournament, 73%. And Kark, he was a 4th-round pick of the Denver Outlaws. How does his game translate to the PLL?
I think he does real well in the PLL because he's so athletic, and when you win a face-off in the PLL with a 32-second shot clock, you need a face-off specialist who could generate offense and can shoot. And Luke Wierman is that next generation of a face-off guy. His story is awesome, too. He's supposed to go to Fairfield University. He was recruited by Andy Copeland, who ended up coaching in the PLL with the Water Dogs. Copeland left Fairfield. Luke Wierman was in the market, and John Tillman swooped him up, and it was probably the best decision that Tillman ever made.
Yeah, he was a last-minute addition, and he's been a fixture on some of these powerhouse Maryland teams over the last few years. Quite the list of star power that we'll see this summer in the PLL that we also get.
Some of the greats.
Even in the Tillman era, some of the long sticks.
I mean, I think about
we've seen
Chris Pasavia, Lee Zink. I don't know if they all won the award, but Maryland synonymous with great defense. Yeah. Billy Ralph back in my day. The Yorktown Cat of Kark's guy from a year ago.
Makar.
Brett Makar, who wore that #1 jersey.
Earhart.
Brian Reese. Earhart. Muller. Guys in the PLL on every roster. Like Maryland.
Half the Whipsnakes defense.
Is defense you know?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Maryland is defense you, without a doubt.
Yeah, you think of Penn State. You know, I just caught up with Lars Tiffany as well, and obviously dealing with Luke Wierman has been a monumental task. So he feels like they might have to put a poll at the face-off to kind of limit his production. If they do that, expect Virginia to go into a 10-man ride after a Wierman win at the face-off X. But make no mistake about it, offensively, they have had big-time struggles in terms of canning shots. 36% shooting percentage on the season today, only 14%.
Another face-off win for Maryland. Now, Wierman now has won 11 of 13. What Colucci has done for Virginia since
they had a birthday yesterday as well. Turned 23 years old. Not a bad day to be a birthday boy.
And maybe he didn't forget to take the candle off the cake before he started eating his.
Well, that was Paul last night at Nitty's Tavern. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Virginia earlier this season, 4 goals in round 1. Earned honorable mention All-America honors. Ghobriel took the last face-off, committed a violation. Colucci this time, Virginia with a rare face-off win. Weyer all the way, he can score. Good look, bouncer high. Weyer's got 7 goals. Millen fishes it out.
Up in the NESCAC for Colby, and Billy was a goalie. Noah used to show up as like a 10-year-old and help me out.
Colucci wins the face-off, accelerates ahead. There's the trail check, popped into the air. Ball on the ground. And that's got to be deflating for Virginia. We'll see if Maryland can clear, but Kark, that's a rare face-off win, and you can't turn it into a possession.
No, you win the face-off, but you don't win the overall battle for possession, and that takes the life out of you.
To practice and just rep some of the dodging patterns that he's likely to see on game day. Young man living on Chipotle in College Park and Maggiano's when he come here to Philadelphia. Two dinners in a row at Maggiano's.
Yeah, that's a lot of carbs.
You know, you look at this offense for Virginia, and it's been
why Maryland clears and rides with such efficiency in May.
Yeah, well, think of it this way. If Cole Kastner's a free safety, it's almost like a quarterback using his eyes or misdirection to get the safety to bite one way. That's what they're doing in the clear game.
He can't cover both sides of the field, and the failure to clear typically against a 10-man is when you...
Wierman has dictated all afternoon. If you're Maryland, you now have to start thinking about Monday. If your lead holds here early in the fourth quarter, at what point do you start thinking about resting Luke Wierman? Certainly not now. A lot of ball to be played. But you want to save some tread for Monday's battle with Will Lynn should you get there. Wierman wins this faceoff, dumps it behind the cage to Spanos.
Couldn't be more impressed with.
Rarely gets balls knocked down because his release and how quick his top hand is when he triggers that pass is so quick. Defenders don't have time to get their sticks in the passing lanes to knock it down.
And there's a no-look component to many of his passes, too. Again, I mean, obviously he's got a bright future. I love everything about him. His compete level, how hard he played last week against Johns Hopkins. He'll benefit enormously from being around Connor this year.
That was a chance for Virginia. Maryland comes up with the ball.
You know, Quint, you mentioned when we were texting back and forth earlier in the season.
Wierman still in the game.
Still in there. Colucci wins this one. And was hit from behind. He was in the crease as well. And he's slow to get up.
Virginia added 3 Fogos this season in the portal. Colucci, Ghobriel, Matt D'Souza from Binghamton. Just the way he lands, gonna be a little bit of road rash, potential shoulder, collarbone.
Maryland is the 7th seed as Colucci comes off. He's had to battle Wierman most of the afternoon. Only 2 7 seeds have won a championship since the tournament expanded back in